Today on Meat Revival, pork belly 2 ways.
Folks, this week on Meat Revival, we're going to do a little pork belly burn in. You know, that seems to be the craze now. People are taking these pork bellies that used to be only for bacon. Now then they're cubing it up, they're seasoning it up, they're sweetening it up.
Wait. This is bacon?
Yeah, this is bacon right here. If you look at it, you can see the end cut on it. I like to use just the half pieces. Most of the time when you get one, it's about 8 to 11 pounds. You know, for me, that's just too much. If you're going to try to season it up and use it, just cook it for yourself, that's way too much bacon at one time. So people have a hard time understanding that a pork belly is just actually bacon, is all it is. You're just doing something different with it. We're not going to cure it. We're going to smoke it, but we're going to season it too.
Well, let's get at it.
So what we do first is just open up. I like to get this that's already got the skin off of it, okay? So right here's where the skin comes from. You can leave it if you want, but once you cook it, you're going to have to get rid of it because it's just too tough to chew to try to make a good bite out of. You know, you're going to have to take it off. So if you can get it, just get it with the skin off just to start with. If you look, this is the lean side here. I always like to cut from the fat side. What's better than pork fat? You know, that's where all your flavor's at.
Yeah.
In these things. So what we're going to do is 2 different ways. We're going to cube one, we're going to season it up, and then we're going to do another one where you just cut it into like thirds, and then we're going to season it, cook it that way so that you can slice it and put it on a sandwich.
So pork belly 2 ways today.
Pork belly 2 ways today. Stay with us. Okay, so when we get ready to cut this pork belly, what we're going to do is kind of scrap it like so. And you want to make about an inch, 1.25 inch scribe down it. I like to try to do that just so I get kind of my bearings on it, but I never get it all done right. You know, it never comes out like it's supposed to. I always end up with a short piece over on this side. So I come back, cut it again. Now we're just looking at squares on here. You know what? Once it's cooked, nobody knows the difference.
Your belly definitely doesn't.
Belly definitely doesn't know the difference. All right, so now we're going to come back and complete the cut all the way through. While I'm doing this, we're going to take a little break. We'll be right back. Okay, we got our pork belly all cut up into little squares, little cubes, if you will. Just like that. That's how it's going to cook.
Would you say it does about 1.5 by 1.5?
Yeah, you know, 1.5, 1.25, something like that. So what we're going to do is just take them, put them all in this pan. Make sure you get them all cut in 2, not like I did. If you got a mixing bowl or something that you can put them in, works really well because you can just kind of toss them. Now, there are several ways to do these, several seasonings that you can use. You know, you use whatever seasoning you want to use on here. So we got our pork belly all cut up, cubed up, we got it in the pan. Now we're just going to season it a little bit. What I like to use on mine is the Lotta Diamond Dust. It's a really rich rub, has a little sugar in it, got a lot of spice in it, got a little bit of heat. And you want to use it pretty liberally. I don't say that just so I can sell some more of it, but you know, it is what it is. I think the more of it you use, the better flavor you get, okay? So what you want to do is just sprinkle it real liberally and then just come back in and just kind of toss it. Mix it up.
So you want to get that seasoning on all parts of it?
Yeah, you want to get as much seasoning on everything as much as you can, all the way around. Just like so. Just keep putting it on, keep tossing it, just like that. You can always add more seasoning to it if you want to at a later time. Once I get it kind of seasoned and tossed like I want, I'll go back and I'll add more seasoning to it again, just right on the top. A couple of different ways you can do this. You're going to do it in the pan. I prefer to do that because it's a little less mess, but you can put those on a cooling rack if you want, the little baker's rack, if you will. Just set them all up on that. That way the grease drains off to the bottom. You can just leave them in the pan and let them cook that way as well. So we talked about doing the pork belly two ways. One way was we cut it, cubed it, seasoned it up. This is how we're going to do it the other way. We're going to take this and just cut this into strips. And what you want to do is make sure, like this looks like the bacon slice right here. That's the side that you want to cut down this way and this way. You can do this in thirds, or you can do it in half. I think we're just going to do it in half. We're going to cut this right down the middle. So what we want to do is to be able to cook this thing whole, and then when we get ready to serve it, we'll be able to take it and slice it off like this. It makes a pretty presentation on a sandwich to be able to do that. People look at that, you know, they eat with their eyes first.
Yes.
So what we're going to do now is,
It's gonna be like a bacon sandwich, but not a cured bacon.
exactly. Okay. So what we're going to do is go ahead and put these in the pan. We're going to put them up the lean side first.
Which rub is this?
This is the Diamond Dust rub by Lotta Barbecue. I love this stuff. I think we're going to have
That's a pretty heavy coat.
That's a pretty heavy coat, and that's what you want, especially on the fat side. You want it just to marry itself into that. That's where I like for it to be.
So then you're keeping it meat side down.
Meat side down. That's where it's going to cook.
So
we want the fat to render through the belly.
It's just a little different than a typical pork cook.
Yeah.
Get that fat caramelized.
You know, actually, that fat will just kind of render off, and when you get ready to slice it, the fat's still there, but doesn't taste like fat anymore.
Okay.
A lot of people, when it comes to pork belly, they can't get past the fat.
Right.
You know, and I get that. A lot of people don't like fat on their steak. I don't know what's wrong with them. You know, that's what I want.
Right, right.
You know?
Fat's flavor.
Fat is flavor, absolutely. Okay, we got everything seasoned up. The flavors are starting to marry in with the meat right now. We're going to take them over to the Ole Hickory Ace and put them on. A couple hours, we'll be ready to rock. Stay with us. All right, folks, we're back here. We're fixing to put this on the Ole Hickory. Mark, if you could get that door for me, we'll slide that in.
What's that rack you got that sitting on?
You know, actually, that's a little baker's rack that we use. And all that does is kind of keep the pork belly from sitting in its own grease. If you don't do that, it's okay to do it if you want to, but if you don't do that, the bottom of your pork belly pieces are just going to be real mushy, real
soggy, and the rest
gummy.
crispy.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the top's going to be a whole lot better. So if you can do that, you know, those things are what, $3 or $4 at the store.
Let's air circulate around the bottom.
Absolutely. Right? Yeah, you get a much more even cook.
Good deal.
All right, so where do we need to go in here? Top rack, second rack?
Yeah, I think you can put it on the second rack on that side probably, and it'll be just fine.
Okay.
And then we can catch the grease with this other one right next to it. Slide that dude in there.
Okay. Let me grab those.
Put your other pork bellies on the top rack right there.
I can get you to hold that for me.
Got it, man.
All right. So it's kind of sweated in a little bit. So we're ready to put these on now. I'm just going to take them right up. And we're still going to keep them fat side up. I mean fat side down. No, fat side up. So we put them on. We're just going to keep them fat side up because that's how we want it to render in there.
And he gets that old belly fat all crispy and yummy. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about. We're going to eat this sucker in a while. All right, those are on. We're gonna close them up.
What kind of wood do you like to put on it, Mike?
You know, I think with the pork belly, you want to kind of use a milder wood, like a pecan or an apple, maybe. You know,
I got both sitting over. Which one you want me to grab?
Let's do a little bit of pecan.
Let's do it.
Okay, now Mark, wait a minute. That's some big logs you got there. We're gonna put in there. Is that all it takes for this Ole Hickory?
An Ole Hickory is a very efficient machine. We've got a very controlled fire down there, and really This is not going to burn up that fast. It's going to smolder and give it most of the flavor that we need.
Okay, good deal.
And when you're burning charcoal for fuel, typically you just need a small amount of wood. If you're burning wood for fuel, you know, you've got that flavor the whole time, so we're not going to need a whole lot.
Awesome. Just throw them in.
Just set them in there on the edge, put them back in, and do their thing.
That is so awesome. Welcome back to Meat Revival. We got our pork belly off. We did it 2 different ways. Now, a lot of people, when they go to cube the pork belly, they like to cook it like this, but then they want to turn around and put brown sugar, barbecue sauce, all that kind of stuff on it. I'll tell you, from where I'm from, people don't want that on there. They want it just like that. So, I know there's 100 different ways to do things. But there's what that looks like on the inside. It's all pretty well rendered out.
Smells fantastic.
It smells intoxicating.
You can see this is the fat section of the bacon right here. But if you'll notice, it's not ooey gooey fat like you would normally think it would be. So, a couple things you can do here. You can leave it just like that. You can serve it on bread. If you wanted to spice it up a little bit, put some butter with it, put some sauce with it, just kind of amp it up just a little bit more. It's really good just the way it is right now.
And the size of that bite, it just all I can think about is opening a Sister Schubert roll
Yeah.
and laying it in there and just come back.
Yeah.
Like a pork slider.
Yeah, exactly. Welcome to try some of that. Oh. Man.
Shoot. Ah. Oh, yeah. Good price.
We got some looker-owners out here.
That's rich. And
Y'all
it's
come
so
on.
good. That's so good.
He said, "Come on." You know,
I said, come on.
That's how that means.
The flies heard you say come on
Oh,
too.
man.
Yeah, and they're here. Okay, so we're going to slide this over to the side. Now, if you look right down in here, we put that grate in there. You notice all the grease that came off of this belly is all down in the bottom right there. So it's not soaking it back up into it.
You can see too, they've shrunk up, got some air in between.
They had, yeah. Yeah, when we put that in, it was all solid.
Yeah.
But as they draw up and cook. Now,
It's got a good texture balance between
it does.
the soft inside and the crunchy outside.
That's a nice rub on that too.
Yeah. What was that rubber? Oh, who's that? Diamond.
It's diamond.
Diamond dust.
Unbelievable was on
On the bologna.
bologna.
Yeah. All right. Here's the other way we do pork belly for a sandwich, and I really like this a whole lot better. But if you just do the whole piece like that, I'm gonna tell you, this sucker's hot. I would let it cool off some before you attempt this.
Could you do this with a meat slicer if you had one?
It could.
You have to cool off, might would.
Yeah. It's just gonna gum up in the slice.
You just see that juice dripping out. Holy cow.
That is hot. You know, I'm telling you, it's so good.
Mike, that's a real meaty belly.
It is. It's not the typical fat belly that you normally get.
No.
A lot of people don't say, well, when they eat bacon, they want it to be crisp. My wife's one of them. She won't eat bacon unless it's really crisp.
I like mine floppy.
Me too.
I just like mine. I don't
Right.
care if it's floppy or crisp. Just get it to
Bacon
me.
is bacon.
Bacon is bacon. So, some people are going to look at that and say, oh, that's not done. Well,
No, that's good.
you just take a little bite of that. That's like butter. That's exactly what that is.
Meat butter.
Now, if you're doing this to do with a sandwich, pull this off, let it rest for 30, 45 minutes. You know, don't cover it because you're just going to retain the heat in it. You're going to cause a moisture loss in it. Just let it set on the plate. Whatever comes out will go right back up in it. and then go in, slice it, put it on a bun, put it on a piece of bread. I don't care what you got to do, just get it to your mouth. It's good.
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah, come on, fellas.
I'm gonna tell you what, that looks really good.
The fat part of this has rendered so much.
It literally just melts.
It does.
Well,
It's not gummy.
it's not too much fat.
No. And when you look at it, you think, man, there's so much fat in there. I ain't eating that.
Oh, that flavor is spot on.
That's what the diamond dust will do for you.
Woo!
I think that's a wrap, folks. That's all I got for Pork Belly. Thank you guys for tuning in. Mark, thanks for
I
letting
don't know
us
if
be
I
here
can take
again.
anymore, man.
He's never gonna have us over again.
Oh, yes, he is, too. We're going to come on the days he ain't here, so
All right. Well, appreciate you guys coming to the Barbecue Funhouse. It has certainly been fun. Look forward to doing it again. Until then, now, barbecue on.
that's right.
Thanks for checking us out today on Meat Revival. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit the subscribe button and ring the bell so you can get all the latest updates. If you have any questions or comments, be sure to leave them below. We'll see you next time.